Hello and welcome to our program. Today we want to talk about tools.
Yeah, we do have a lot of tools here.
We do.
Now, these are just some tools we found helpful over the life of flying drones.
Right.
Because when you start flying drones, as you probably have found out, you get in the field and there's always something that you need that isn't included, of course, in the basic kit. Absolutely nothing. There's a lot of other things we found that are helpful when you're in the field. Something goes wrong or something doesn't go wrong. You find something you need to work with. So there's a lot of small tools that we found are helpful. First of all, I'd like to say this is almost invaluable. It's a double-sided toolkit that you can get at any, well, not any, but most hardware stores have them. And basically it has two sides with a lid with all these little compartments in it.
That's not a tackle box?
Okay, maybe it is. It's a tool. It's a professional drone toolkit.
It's a professional drone toolkit, not a tackle box.
And two-sided, but it has a lot of good things in there. Some of the things I like to. Well, actually, let's go over yours first. Yours is just a
right. So I just have these simple things, and then I added a pliers, and of course we're not talking about extra propellers or extra batteries or that sort of thing of regular maintenance that is scheduled or unscheduled that you need to do to your drone. These are just extra tools that is a good thing to have in your drone case. So I put this very small one inside of every single drone case that I have. I bought it from Amazon for maybe $6-7, whatever it is, and it's just this. It's like a screwdriver that you change the tips, but the tips have all kinds of things. They have the stars, they have the Phillips screwdriver, they have the different sizes, they have the regular flathead, an Allen wrench. So it's actually really, really helpful. And I have disassembled almost my entire Phantom using only this.
Which one is that? I want to make sure I don't fly it.
The Phantom 4, but not the Pro.
Right.
So just the regular plain vanilla Phantom 4. I saw this one the other day in Micro Center, and I bought it. It was also $6 or $7 or whatever, and it has it's the same idea, right? So it has the handle, and it has all the other like screw heads that are interchangeable. So this has the stars, the Phillips, all of that, kind of like jeweler screwdrivers, but to the nth degree. I mean, seriously. And this particular one I haven't used, but I know I will, especially if I have to open the drone or say a laptop or something like that.
And that's good too, because this one could fit in your actual drone case, and that's when you maybe keep in your truck.
I keep it in the truck,
backpack.
Right? Yeah. And this definitely in the drone case. And in addition to this, again, I also have little needle nose pliers that I use.
Right. I have some of the things that I have in my kit. Of course, are the pliers. This is that. The tool, the multi-tool. I won't mention the name brand, but it has some screwdrivers in there, and of course, the big thing, the pliers.
It rhymes with Weatherman.
Maybe. Of course, it's always good to have a knife of some sort. You have to be careful if you are going into high security areas. They may take that from you. For the most part, it should be fine. Because I also have something else where you need to attach something to your drone. There's adhesive on one side and there's hook and loop on the other.
Right.
And you put, of course, one on one side, one on the other, and they stick together. And I have a long piece of that, so I can cut it to whatever length I need. The knife comes in handy for that. Always want to carry some kind of a measuring tool. What you find really useful is if you are doing any kind of construction, 3D modeling or anything with precision construction, you may want to even have one that's quite long, 50 to 100 feet, some kind of a long measuring tool, so you can lay out a line on the ground.
Absolutely.
And then you have a benchmark to do your measurements from, because you know how long that is. That comes in handy. Always have extra cords for your iPad or your chargers or whatever. This is just one example of what, of course, for the iPad hookup. And for transferring media, because you will inevitably at one point, if you're doing a cinematography job, there's always going to be a rush one. The client's going to want to transfer something in the field, and also for backing stuff up. Very important to back stuff up.
Right, and not just for that. I mean, how about just for checking your files before you leave the site? You know, I mean, if there's anything wrong with the files, you don't want to be home when you find that out.
Right.
So yeah. That's indispensable things.
And of course, an extra little micro card, because I have known people who've gone to the field without.
Who shall not be mentioned in this program.
Can't remember their names, but they
Can't remember their names.
They've gone out to the field, not had a card in their drone, and so luckily there was one in their toolkit.
I keep one in my wallet now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I keep it because, I've done it.
Caught there, yeah.
I've done it.
We've all been there. I mean, not me, but
no, not
most
us.
of us,
Never. No.
Of course, this is the Dji Tool. It's actually pretty handy because you can keep it just about anywhere. I keep one in my toolkit. In addition to the screwdriver I have in the toolkit and the screwdriver I have in the drone kit that comes in handy. Now, this is something I found at the hardware store, which is really, really cool.
Those are great.
And you should have them. They're
Absolutely.
like pipe cleaners, only they're like really, really rigid. There's like metal inside and soft, like rubbery stuff outside. And you can get them, this is not even the smallest one, but this is next to the smallest one, but they come in multiple lengths. I think you can get them up to like 2 or 3 feet long, and you can basically bind things, hold things in, whatever you want to do. They also have ones with little loops on them, so you can put them on your cords where they stay there, and then you can, instead of having to use twist ties, you use these.
Right.
They're really, really cool. You can get sets of those at your local hardware store. Speaking of which, a red light.
For night flying, you better believe it.
If you're night flying, you don't want to ruin your night vision. You need a red flashlight, which I always keep in my kit.
Right.
And this is a wind speed measuring device, which I have a hard time saying.
Anemometer. Anemometer.
Right, anemone. See, anemone, that's the other word.
Not an animate.
Anyway, so it just basically, usually I don't use this a whole lot because I can pretty well know what my drone limits are.
Right.
I usually take it out if I want to impress somebody. There's like dignitaries on the site. I'm trying to set everything up. And you're doing this, it looks like you're,
You're impressing with that. I see.
Kind of looks like you're a DP on the set of a movie, except you've got a wind speed indicator. The other thing, one of the last things I want to mention are these little teeny flashy lights.
Oh, they are fantastic.
They are amazing. These things are they work for the regulation for night flying.
Oh, they sure do.
And they have
they're anti-collision lights.
Anti-collision lights.
They're anti-collision lights, so you can put those in your drones. Remember, those have to be either red or white and need to have the capability of strobing. And these certainly do, and they're visible for 3 statute miles. So that makes your drone legal for night flying. Don't forget, under Part 107, you need a waiver to be able to fly commercially at night.
Right, so the flashlight and the lights are all, of course, assuming that you have a waiver. And this is really cool because it has a battery on, this is everything.
Yeah,
this is the light, the battery, everything. It's charged with a little USB port here, just plugs in.
It's fantastic.
It lasts for hours.
Right.
And we just Velcro those right on the skins of our drone.
Right. But I want to make sure that I also mention the Rugo lights from Fox Fury, which I use not in my smallest drones because they're a little too heavy, but I use them in the Phantom. I use them in the Unique drone, the H520. And I use them in the Typhoon H from Unique. So for those drones, I really use the Rugo lights. So, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that because they are great products.
One thing I forgot to mention was this, the Allen wrench tool. There are, tightening things in the field. You always need the silly Allen wrench, so make sure you have one of these in your kit.
Right. All right.
And that's about it. Then, of course, if you find anything that you think is helpful that we haven't mentioned, let us know because we're always looking for helpful tips in terms of tools and things that may not that we might not know about.
Exactly.
Because you're out in the field. We come by these things because we've been there and we've needed them, and it's like we don't. I
wish I had whatever it is.
So the next day you go out and you buy one, put it in your kit. So
that's right.
It's an ever-growing, ever-expanding list. But I hope it helps. Thanks for joining us. That's it for today's podcast.
Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and see you next time. Thank you.